one more way, very similar to the previous ones, to practice the vocabulary is, for example, giving your students some kind of statements and they have to express their opinions using the vocabulary, the high priority vocabulary first of all. Yeah, you can even, even create cards or write this high priority vocabulary on the whiteboard, so the students have always always have this high priority vocabulary in front of their eyes, so this way they will remember it, because 70% of people are visuals by their comprehension, but by their major channel of comprehensions, they're visuals, so when they see this word all the time they tend to remember it. So for example, you give some statements connected to the topic, or maybe it's funny if your students have enough humor and enough confidence, I would say. It can be some statement not really connected to the topic which we're discussing. For example, again, the topic is food. Yeah, let's assume the topic is food. And okay, first statement can be something connected to food, like French cuisine is the best, for example, or something like that, and they discuss it. But maybe if you want to have little fun, and I guess if your students have quite high level and they have enough humor and they enjoy some unexpected things, you could also try as a second statement, as a third statement to discuss, to give them such kind of not connected statement, and even spread them into groups, and each group has to present the best monologue, disclosing this statement using the vocabulary which you have given them. Maybe it's the vocabulary on the topic of food, yeah, and somehow they have to disclose this statement using the food vocabulary. It's just like a crazy idea. You can test it and not necessarily use it. Or of course you can create different cards, many cards, and make them making sentences with them. Then you can combine these cards, like 3 of them, and your students have to make little text. So this way this vocabulary will go into more natural usage. And basically, of course, share with me your ideas, how you practice vocabulary. And of course, in teacher's book, to every student's book, there is a teacher's book where they give a specific task connected to working out some of the vocabulary. But you need to understand which level of practice is this task, is this activity aimed for, because there are some activities on the first level of practice when your students are just tightening this knowing of these words and their translation, so they're just resuming these words. Some of the activities are based on that, when for example you just need to match a picture and the words or something like that. Some of them are aimed on using, most of them I would say are aimed on using this vocabulary in context already. Yes, so they are aimed for this stage 3, I would say, of practice. Stage 3 of practice. So if you see that this task is aimed to the stage 3 of practice, you need to create by yourself maybe some very basic activities to make your students go through the stage 1 and 2, helping them working out the vocabulary, which can be extremely easy way to do it. You just, as I said, yeah, you just say it in Russian or you show the picture and your students have to name it. After you have presented the vocabulary, after you have checked the understanding, or this way you could be also checking the understanding, then you just again use the cards or different pictures and ask them to build sentences. And then, for example, you can use some funny and interesting activity from the teacher's book to make them feel how they could be using this vocabulary in the ready context. And basically this stage number 3 is very close to the stage of number 4, which is the product. And we were talking about this stage much in the previous training, but what can I say most of all? That basically the aims of these stages are different, because the aim of practice level is to help your student to test and try. And the biggest aim of the product part is to make your students use it without you and without mistakes. Of course, there can be some mistakes, but without critical mistakes. Yeah, they have to be quite confident in their usage of this. And it is not supervised by teacher. No teacher supervision. I think I should create a chart describing the features of practice in product level. But as I said in the previous training, and I guess I will never get tired to repeat it. Oh, sorry, these are videos. 1 second. Yeah, so practice, then the product stage, and we are going to talk about it little. Now we are talking about it. Sorry. And the most common teacher's mistake is to avoid this product section. So they don't give their student, they don't push them, they don't give their student the chance to actually start using this vocabulary without them. But you are going to avoid this kind of mistake. How? Yeah, as I said last time, you have to give your students to use it without you. Give a chance to students to use it without you. How it can be in their home task. And in their home task, they have to minimize mistakes. But home task is just a model for real life. So basically, they have to use it in real life. That's the most important. They have to recognize when to use this vocabulary and actually use it. So use it in real life. It is very important. Try to use it, because again, they will be having some kind of mistakes. They have to, when they go outside the class, and try having this aim to test this vocabulary in real world, basically they are coming back to this practice stage again, but without you. They are their own supervisors at that level. That's how basically the practice and product stage are different as well. That they are not confident really. They might make some mistake. They may not understand which context to use it. They may not understand why should I use this sophisticated word instead of some regular, quite easy vocabulary which I have already got used to. For example, why do I need to use all these words like tremendous, fabulous, terrific, awesome, if I can just say, for example, very good or wonderful or beautiful? Why do I have to use this vocabulary? So basically here they become their own students and their own teachers and mentors, feeling not comfortable, yet they have to go through this stage to be actually able to take this vocabulary and actually start using it without you, without their teachers. So how do you push them to this product stage, since it must be performed without you? All that you can do is to build this framework, to give them the technical task and check it afterwards. But you remember that basically creating a product, like pulling, extracting that material out on the level of practice, it's not your work. Your work is here, here, and only 10% here, but 90% of your students. 10% in class, 90% outside the class. So product, how you do product. You explain the importance of it, you explain this concept of product, then you give a task and then you check it, very easy. You just give the task. For example, guys, you know that from this lesson there are 4 priority words. Let's say these are 4 priority words. Okay, let it be like this. These are 4 priority words of this lesson. So during this week, up to the next hour lesson, for example, you have to be listening what people around you are talking in Russian, and imagine and catch the context. You could use some of these words. Of course, I would recommend it to make it even simpler. That At first, recommend your student to concentrate on only one word, and for example, for 1 or 2 days, your student, when he or she remembers about this task, they mustn't be always tensed and thinking, oh my god, I have to use this word. No, just when they remember, they can set some reminders on their phone or something like that. But when they remember about your task, they just start listening more carefully and searching for the situation. Their students could they could actually use this word. After they have fixed the situation, they just need to like somehow indicate it to themselves. Maybe like make it like this, here is it. Or maybe just in their head make it tick, here this situation. Or like now, or some trigger, yeah, to use this word. Couple of the time they have just fixed the situations relevant for using this vocabulary, they can start trying to use this vocabulary by imagining that they need to translate that sentence to English. For example, yeah, they are in their office and the boss again, their boss is talking about, okay, for example, they are talking about the self-esteem of some of their subordinates, but they're talking about that in Russian. So the student, what he or she does, at first they remember they have to use self-esteem somehow. Yeah, they have to see the situations where to use it. Then after they have recognized the topic, they can do, here self-esteem could be used. And then in your head, or maybe aloud, if you're working with some people who are also interested in developing their English, you could translate some phrase which they have just said or you just said to English. Maybe not directly, not absolutely correct professional translation, just deliver the point, yeah, convey the meaning, and use this word. And of course, at the next lesson, you just ask your students, okay, so which sentences have you built? Which was the context you felt you could use it? You could have used this word if you were speaking English instead of Russian. Something like that, yeah. But what you can do, you can just give your student the chance to complete this product. But of course, in the end of the lesson, after they have practiced, I would still recommend